I think it's time I'm honest with all of you. I've been battling an addiction for the past few years. I can't stop buying second-hand games. N64, Mega Drive, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, PSP, PS2, Xbox 360. No matter how hard I try, I can't seem to stay away for very long. In all seriousness though, I do collect a lot of older games. It's a hobby of mine. There's nothing quite like cracking open that package, putting the cartridge in, and starting up a new... I hate this part. Like I said, I buy games mostly secondhand, because, well, have you tried buying Pokemon Soul Silver new lately? Unless you're comfortable taking out a loan, it's not really a viable option. I choose to pay a lower price in exchange for the game having been used before. This trade-off is perfect. As long as the game's in half-decent condition, I have no qualms about my investment. That's not the full story though, because while I may part with fewer of my New Zealand gazoogas, yes, that is what our money is called, I have to pay another price. I have to pay the price of deleting someone's save. That's not an experience I particularly enjoy. Okay, yeah, whatever, call me overly sentimental and cringe all you want. This kind of thing matters to me, and I'm making this video to try and explain why. When I press that weird button combo to delete a save file on a DS or 3DS era Pokemon game, my heart rate quickens. I pause for a moment, assuring myself this is the right thing to do. When I actually pluck up the courage to follow through, I wait on bated breath. When it's over and the file is erased, I feel guilt. Crushing guilt, like I've done something terribly wrong. I'm aware that to some people, this likely sounds completely insane. It's not my file. I don't even know who it belonged to. And yet, I have this real response to deleting their save. Why? Well, the answer has managed to elude me for some time now, but I think I've finally managed to nail it down. It's because I'm doing to someone what a younger version of me would have hated most to have done to them. It feels like I'm betraying someone almost. Having my save overwritten was practically a phobia of mine as a kid. The very idea used to make me anxious. Doing it to someone else just doesn't sit right with me. But of course, it's still not that simple, right? Whoever sold the game gave up that save willingly. They consented to its deletion by selling the game. How then can I take any issue with getting rid of their progress and replacing it with mine? Well, it's not the seller who I feel like I'm betraying. It's who they were. Now, they're an adult. They want to sell the game for whatever reason, but once upon a time, they weren't worried about some extra money. Once upon a time, they were just a kid like I was. Worried about catching a cool Pokemon to brag about to their friends at school.
Nice.
Worried about having fun before bedtime. Once upon a time, they were a kid who intended to come back one day and finish their quest. It's this kid I feel like I'm betraying. It's as if I'm robbing them of that chance to see things through. Even if they themselves have forsaken that chance, do I really have the right to sweep the last dustings of soil onto the grave of that dream? For some people, you may have no clue what I'm going on about right now. It may make no sense to you, and if that's the case, fair enough. Not everyone attaches meaning to the same things that I do. For me though, I see meaning hidden in this cartridge. While some of you may see a Pokemon save file as just a lifeless counter of badges collected, Pokemon caught, hours played, to me, it's so much more than that. It's a digital album of memories. Hard-fought battles, lost and won, friendships formed and tested, laughter and fun that just can't be measured numerically. In the display name of a file, I hear the echoes of someone who, in another life, maybe I could have been friends with. I'm aware how insane this sounds. I'm feeling guilt towards someone who no longer exists. But they did exist, and this file is proof of that. Proof that in a way, is perhaps more real than even a photo or video. It's a record of their decisions, their motivation, their resolve to embark on a journey they'll sadly never finish. If it could speak, this cartridge could tell us stories even its once proud owner has long since forgotten. But even without a mouth, it speaks loudly all the same.
And not my house!
I think it entirely possible that a cartridge like this can tell us more about a previous owner than any camera ever could. Deleting its contents almost feels like deleting them, or at least a part of them, for good. A while back, I played a game called SOMA. SOMA is a game that asks many difficult questions about the nature of humanity, including what exactly we consider a human to be. I'm actually interested in making a video on SOMA, but No More Room in Hell Part 2 is still coming first, don't worry. In this game, you're presented with a choice that, in some ways, reminds me of the feeling I get when deleting a save file. In a particular section of the game, you have to interrogate a digital recreation of a person who used to be alive. This recreation is based on a fictitious type of brain scan that is capable of reproducing a person's identity at the moment of the scan perfectly. Instead of a brain, they simply have circuit boards. It's like they're brought back to life, except not really. The new consciousness is just that, new. It's an exact copy, but it is separate. They aren't one and the same. This, by the way, is a key aspect of the game that I really wish I could delve into more, but you saw the title, so you might just have to wait. As I said, you're required to coax information out of this recreation in order to progress. You're able to manipulate the surroundings the recreation sees and even use the image of his partner in order to increase your chances of getting the info you need. If something goes awry and the recreation becomes too stressed, suspecting something to be wrong, the simulation shuts down as a precaution. This essentially kills him. Your next attempt at interrogation is conducted on an entirely new version of the same man. While this is horrifying in a way unique to any other game I've played, it's actually not the part I'm interested in. What concerns me is the aftermath. Upon successfully extracting the information needed, you're presented with a choice before moving on. You can either erase the scan, removing the potential for any new variations of the man to be created, thusly ending his suffering once and for all, or you can do nothing, leave him frozen in time, likely forever. This moral quandary is gut-wrenching. There's no trophy awarded for either option, no hidden weapon for making the right choice. There is no gameplay incentive whatsoever. SOMA simply asks the player to do what they think is right. That, as little as it may be, is its own reward. Now, obviously, erasing a human life isn't entirely the same as deleting a save file. There is one aspect that I think runs deeply through both scenarios, though. I'm talking about the idea of potential. When leaving the brain scan to rot on the dying circuit boards of Pathos 2, it's cruel. But it's more than that. In a way, it's hopeful. It leaves the possibility, no matter how slim, that the man could live again in some semblance of normality. It's wishful thinking, absolutely, but it is technically possible. The same sort of idea applies to deleting a save file. If I erase it, I'm removing any possibility for the previous owner's experiences to come to life again, any possibility for their voyage to reach its conclusion. Sure, the chances of the person I bought it off ever touching it again stretch far into the point zeros. Somewhere along that line, though, there's a 1, and that single digit is enough to give me pause. When I sat down this evening to write this video, I wasn't quite sure what the result would be. I wasn't even sure I would be able to put pen to paper. I just found myself feeling sad. Sad in a way I haven't really seen anyone else articulate. So I'm trying to capture a moment in which I felt a little hollow. It's small, insignificant really, just a few lines of code suspended in limbo on rapidly aging hardware. As inconsequential as it may be though, it's not nothing, at least not to me. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I know it's a little different from my last video, and I know it's not No More Room in Hell Part 2, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Just to clarify, this video has been more of a side project whilst I've been working on Part 2, so rest assured, the making of this video has not impacted my work on that project whatsoever. It's still very much coming, and though there is plenty more to work on, I really can't wait to show it off when it's done. I'm trying my best to provide as detailed an analysis of the game as I'm capable of, so as such, it's taking a while and I really do appreciate your patience. There may be another video or two between now and when part 2 comes out, as it's turning into a much longer video than I anticipated, but I'll keep you updated as I go. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching, big things in the works for part 2, and have a good one.